very, very 5-head.
And there we have it, semifinals time. And whoa, guys, I completely forgot. God of Despair does have a 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴 in the semifinals. I think this is the furthest a Temtem, or maybe just a 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴 has gone in one of our finals. So well done to God. And hey, I don't remember God of Despair rocking an afro. Did you just put it on for Funkyhao matchup?
Maybe. Might be. I mean, who knows? This probably, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see. But of course, Funkyhao loves the speed, so he's gonna be banning that deceit or not, guys, just so he doesn't have to deal with anything. So let's see. I mean, 𝗬𝗫𝗀𝗀 is available to him. 𝗀𝗀𝗀 feels pretty good into the 𝗲𝗏, into the 𝗃𝗶. But of course, who could go wrong with the infamous... Oh, no. I'm thinking of Funkyhao. God of Despair picking up 𝗲𝗏 here.
Yeah. The 𝗲𝗏, I mean, I would dare say the only crystal Tem that is, so we say a hard carry, right? Gaialis can't hard carry no more. Tourney sometimes, but 𝗲𝗏, you get 𝗲𝗏 set up and he does what he says he can do, right? You hire 𝗲𝗏, everything on his resume makes sense, checks out. But Funkyhao running probably the strongest way to deal with this, and the classic what you gotta do about a combo, not as potent anymore, guys. Gaialis can't do that kind of stuff anymore. But still definitely something to definitely take note of.
Yeah, so it looks like Funkyhao preparing for a 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗺 opener, but God of Despair having that counter pick saying, I'm not gonna put my fish into a Plague Noxious Bomb, let's pick up this Gaialis. And yeah, back in the day, Blue actually coined this opener as the what you're gonna do about it strat, because back in the day, who are you gonna attack? Either 𝗲𝗏 Madness buff or Gaialis gets a heat up, so it's exactly like Blue put it, what you gonna do about it? It was so good back in the day. But of course, heat up, funny enough, is the name of this Gaialis, no longer with the heat up available. So let's get started with the semifinals. Who's gonna be taking game number 1? We got a solid opener on both sides, especially if this is an 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴. We'll see how much is able to dish out. But I don't think this 𝗲𝗏 has a bit of a free madness buff. I think something like Plague Feather Gatling will be putting him very close to going down. So I'm curious what he does.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of pressure comes from Funkyhao. He should have the favored opening here, considering that the best you can do really as God of Despair is double gash madness buff or double gash crystal spikes. So swapping out the 𝗲𝗏 for later and swapping in the Volrend for at least this round, playing for the second turn is fairly understandable. Plague will connect, and it's probably the better outcome he was expecting. Just absorbing that hit and then continuing on. Double gash as well to follow, and that 𝗃𝗶𝗆 taking so much damage. You still don't sleep on ya boys.
Man, that's a 𝗃𝗆 that 100% goes down to a single hook kick. What is that? Like max speed, max special attack? Because a double gash doing 60% on a 𝗃𝗆, I don't remember that all the time. So that's something look out for. 𝗃𝗆 just looking to get his attacks off and dish out the punishment. And hey, that Fat Mamba coming in for the first time already at 50% down. Was this indeed an 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴? It was. So Funkyhao with the HKS online, I think it will be enough with that Doppelganger's Bruise to bring down the trap Volrend. So I think Funky may be a slight edge opener here.
Swapping out here the 𝗃𝗆 for the Riken, and gonna be doing a lot of damage in the following turns, especially with the Gaialis exposed here. For the Gatling, Doppelganger's Bruise as well, doing a lot of damage, but not quite enough to kill. And the Crystal Bite to follow, and maybe an HKS to trade, and in fact it is HKS to clear the kill here, and goes straight home for that shot
Wow.
Unfortunately, Funkyhao will not be having his Valorant following up, and that is a great start for God of Despair, who is running 5 aggressive Tems on the same team.
Yeah, absolutely insane read there. Of course, Funkyhao expecting the hook kick coming into 𝗏𝗶𝗴, swapping into the 𝗧𝗵𝗶, but beautiful understanding of what's going on. God of Despair with the double up on the bird, and before Funkyhao's HKS was ever able to get off, it was already brought down. So maybe, just maybe, Funkyhao had to HKS, get the kill on 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗶, and then you just live the crystal bite. Of course, hindsight is 2020, so I think Funkyhao was just confident the 𝗏𝗶𝗴 would have been brought down. But well played, God of Despair getting that early kill. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. 𝗏𝗏 does come in for Funkyhao.
Oh, swapping in here. Both players getting that 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃 on the board. Hook kick completely nullified, but the plume -1 attack on 𝗧𝗵𝗃 is huge. But I'm pretty sure this 𝗧𝗃 is just gonna get his kill back. Just straight up refund. There you go.
And there we go, as
Absolutely.
you said. Funkyhao getting a kill, getting the prideful buff, which is huge. But instead of getting +1 attack, is going back to neutral because of the plume. So just getting some good old special attack plus speed. But you know what? I think God was expecting a 𝗧𝗏𝗺𝗀𝗀 onto the 𝗬𝗧𝗔. But well done, Funkyhao, recognizing where the kill needed to be and got the kill indeed.
Yeah, the 𝗂𝗀𝗇 now swapped in though. Probably the worst nightmare of this 𝗧𝗵𝗃. We'll have to be a bit cautious with how Funky plays this, because Water Cannon Crystal Bite or Water Cannon Sharp Stabs probably the play God of Despair is looking at. Again, 𝗬𝗨 has not seen the light of day, and 𝗏𝗏 will not be able to hold that. But God of Despair swaps out the gas for the 𝗬𝗨 actually reading. The 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃 will leave, and that shiny shine, beautiful, beautiful. And Funky does in fact swap out the 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃, so the read is excellent. Oshidashi locked and loaded into this 𝗏𝗏.
Oh,
And 𝗧𝗏𝗺 gonna be absorbed completely. 𝗧𝗏𝗺 trade, and the 𝗏𝗏 disappears from existence.
huge read for the side of God, expecting the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 neutral synergy to come online. Both tamers thinking the same thing, but instead of God going with the water cannon on the 𝗧𝗃, kept things straightforward, going with the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 on the 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃 spot. He wouldn't have got the kill on the 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃 since it's a strange vest 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃, but definitely got the kill. So Funkyhao trying to read the 𝗧𝗃 getting attacked there, instead catching him with his pants down. The 𝗏𝗏 getting 0 to 100 because of the synergy master, 25%. God of Despair looking good, but 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃 looking to pressure out this 𝗬𝗨.
The swap does come through though. For that 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃, it is in fact low. The 𝗧𝗏𝗺𝗺 will still do a lot of damage to this 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃, indiscriminate source of burst. And the Sapphire suplex as well to kill the 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃. That's a double kill, and it's 𝗧𝗃 versus 4 non-𝗧𝗃 DPS.
Yeah, it looks like God making some beautiful predictions there. Getting that kill on the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 was huge, and I believe
God of Despair, he's trading, but he's trading happily, right? He's just doing he is running 5 DPS, and if that's the case, then 1-for-1 trades will not suffice, because the burst will just always still be there for God of Despair. Obviously, the deal with aggressive teams is you break their momentum early, or you stall so long that their damage is no longer relevant at some point in the game.
All right, Funkyhao still having the blue side here, so getting up this Valorant. Obviously a fantastic Temtem with everything said and done. Picking up rather safe bets, so God of Despair on the orange side. What 2 Temtems does he want to pick up? What is he scared of? Oh, so a little bit different. This is the new 𝗬𝗧𝗇, so there's no heat up on this Temtem, but there is a show off, so a mini heat up. And maybe this is the pseudo of what you're gonna do about it, right?
Yeah, I think this actually works. Well, almost works. I don't think it's still packs the same punch as 𝗬𝗬𝗺𝗬𝗺 but it's definitely the damage is there, right? You can Savage Suplex, Crystal Spike something. If you don't kill off the 𝗬𝗬, then that's basically wraps. And the funny part about this is Funkyhao is responding like you would against the what you gonna do about it. Just sorry, not 𝗬𝗬, but 𝗬𝗬𝗺𝗺 was a classic response of what you gotta do about it. You pressure out one of the DPS dealers right away, and then the what you gotta do about it doesn't work, right? The snowball doesn't start happening. So Funky, I guess he's just playing a few patches ago. He's like, well, this is basically the same strategy. I'll just play against it the same way.
Yeah, it's just a really good opener. 𝗬𝗺𝗻𝗃 has been classic for so long. That water cannon, not only does it pack a punch, you add 2 ticks of toxic. Usually the play goes water cannon, toxic tick applies, and then that leaves it in the perfect aquatic whirlwind range. And considering Feather Gatling getting that +1 speed on the bird, something like an aquatic whirlwind HKS flying out in the same turn, something is dying turn 2 most likely.
Absolutely, there will be blood drawn. The question will be if the blood drawn will be Funky's or will it be God in Despair. And we'll have to see. This is a hyper-aggressive 1v1 position.
Yeah, and we are in game number 2, so God of Despair finding himself 1 win away, securing that final seat for himself. But Funkyhao not looking to let that happen so easily here, looking to fight back 2 games down. Can he make it happen in this game number 2? It looks like Yowler does get swapped out here.
Water Cannon to throw out here easily into the 𝗬𝗺𝗺. The read is basically perfect here from the side of God of Despair. The damage, of course, is still definitely there, but the madness buff is free, plus it is free.
Yeah, free, like Presby Kenny says, free 99. free indeed. So 𝗬𝗬𝗺 looking to turn up right here. 𝗬𝗺𝗺, I believe it's an aerobic, so 1 crystal spike will most likely bring it all the way down, if not 90% out the window. So we'll see. I mean, 𝗬𝗺𝗺 at +2 special defense, probably if there's any Temtem that can eat an aquatic whirlwind HKS, it might just be that madness buff 𝗬𝗺. It might be close though. I don't know. Blue, how are you feeling at 69%? Well, essentially 70%. Aquatic whirlwind plus the HKS is the dream alive for this 𝗬𝗺.
Well, the madness buff special defense increase is definitely going to put a dent in that. And speaking of a dent, this 𝗬𝗺𝗺 survives despite the HKS. Aquatic Whirlwind going to try and pressure out this 𝗬𝗺 most likely. No, he actually all-ins with so much stamina to kill off the 𝗬𝗺𝗺. But it heals the 𝗬𝗺, and oh, Dale! First blood by this 𝗬𝗺, but it lives! 0.9%! Oh my lord, this 𝗬𝗺 does not do enough by just an inch.
And perfectly calculated for the side of Funkyhao. Well done. What is that, like 3 HP right there? Insane. I thought the crystal spike would be enough. If it's not max special attack, maybe that 1 little extra TV and special attack would have done it. But man, I was for certain it was going down. But well played too. Funkyhao, that +2 speed guarantees him to have at least 1 more Feather Gatling before calling it a day. But yeah, the only reason I didn't expect the 𝗬𝗺𝗺 to get punished there was because of the scavenger buff. He's kind of ignoring the scavenger buff. He's kind of ignoring this 𝗬𝗺 here. I don't know if that's the exact way that will lead him to victory here, especially considering this is a madness buff sweatband 𝗬𝗺. I guess he just feels confident that Raikkonen and 𝗬𝗺𝗺 can deal with it down the road. So if 𝗬𝗺𝗺 and 𝗬𝗏𝗃 could get the kill on the other Temtems, I guess that makes some good logic for the side of Funky.
Yeah, right now, the 𝗬𝗺𝗺 is set up though, and that is already a big deal to deal with. Of course, double gash is the only accessible move by this 𝗬𝗺𝗺, but if that is enough to set up, then we will be seeing a kill. Double gash to follow through on the Raikkonen, but obviously C spikes will not follow suit, so 𝗂𝗏 will be taking that crystal spikes. Not quite enough damage, but the 𝗬𝗺𝗺 putting out the work. But now is this Raikkonen Meteor Swarm. will be on the cards.
Yeah, Meteor Swarm, or if he wants to go big just for the single target, something like Aquatic Whirlwind, you get the outspeed, and then 𝗧𝗵𝗶 onto the 𝗧𝗲. I want to say that is enough. There's not any defense on this Funkyhao, or not, wait, it's named Funky, but it's God of Despair's 𝗧𝗲. But yeah, 𝗧𝗲 on God of Despair's side, I believe that will be able to take it down. So God, considering his options here, does he want to save it? I mean, I think he should save the 𝗧𝗲, but he doesn't really want to eat it with any Temtem in that back line. 𝗂𝘀𝗶𝗴 gets hit very hard from an Aquatic Whirlwind, but he started attacking 𝗬𝗧𝗇 already, so maybe he wants to finish it off. If Funkyhao wants to read the 𝗧𝗲 retreating and he doubles into this 𝗬𝗧𝗇 spot, that might be a win situation for the side of Funky. This is a difficult play though.
Not at all a trivial choice to make by God of Despair here. Funkyhao has the upper hand, mainly because the 𝗧𝗲 didn't get any kills. I mean, that's not really on God of Despair, more so than Funky getting having amazing TVs, right, to hold on to that. But still, this Raikkonen in this position with Meteor Swarm is going to be so dangerous. 𝗂𝘀𝗶 gonna get swapped in for the 𝗬𝗧𝗇 just to apply some water cannon pressure in the following couple of turns.
And let's see,
and the 𝗧𝗲 is going to the side of Funky.
Oh, there we go. So it was a double swap for the side of God. I was thinking maybe a little seed dust with that 4 prio may be enough, but hey, 𝗧𝗵𝗶 choosing the right spot, which was the 𝗧𝗲 spot. So a good 30% damage on the Yowler. But now it looks like God has a good amount of pressure. Neutral Synergy Master, 25% additional on this 𝗧𝗵𝗶. We saw it one-shot the 𝗧𝗲 in the previous game. I believe, of course, it will one-shot the 𝗧𝗲 if it wants to stay in. And looking at Funkyhao's team, there's not really anything that wants to eat that. I mean, the best is already on the board. The second best, you know, Synergy Master is such a crazy trait. I think the Devil Fox, if it comes in, maybe takes 50%. Actually, maybe the best bet here is just to sacrifice a Temtem.
Yeah, perhaps just sacking someone. Volerant, in fact, will be the sacrificial lamb here, understandably so by Funky. And the Raikkonen will be swapped out as well for the 𝗬𝗏𝗶. Interesting choice here. Perhaps expecting the Savage Suplex on that Raikkonen spot, but 𝗧𝗵𝗶 going to spend a lot of stamina for a very, very little cost there. Savage Suplex does follow through, but my god, that 𝗬𝗏𝗶. Nah, it's not having fun with how much damage that's dealing.
Yeah. And wait a second, 𝗬𝗏𝗶 swapped out from Raikkonen, so I guess he didn't want to get the Raikkonen too low, so he still has an answer for that 𝗧𝗲, so fair enough. But Funkyhao's Tems, they're getting a little bit low, guys. The Yowler still rather healthy. Madness buff 𝗧𝗲 still definitely healthy in the back line. It's getting tricky. God is playing quite perfectly into Funky's team. Raikkonen coming back out.
Aquatic Whirlwind onto the 𝗂𝘀𝗶, doing a solid amount of damage, but 𝗧𝗵𝗶 going to trade, at least guarantee a 1-for-1 here. But the Raikkonen, I think he'd be more than happy to take that 𝗂𝘀𝗶 kill, but the Oshidashi going to punish it just a little bit.
Yeah,
but actually, no, sorry, the Raikkonen swapped in.
It just looks like this Synergy Master 𝗂𝘀𝗶 plus a neutral Temtem. That being a Luma Yowler, man, this is beautiful to see. It's a little bit too much. I mean, it's killing Temtems that's half effective into knocking out a 𝗬𝗏𝗃 there. It did take a good amount, about 80% from that water cannon, or no, the Aquatic Whirlwind. But still, this is a lot of Temtems remaining. Funkyhao last 3 Temps, but Crystal Spike looking for the kill, and it will get it, so not too shabby there.
Ooh, 𝗧𝗵𝗶 doing a lot of damage, but Savage Suplex trading with a comebacker buff. This is why you don't mess with the Yeti man. And 𝗧𝗲 not set up for Funky. This might be the end for this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually the end of the semifinals. With Riken going down, there's essentially no answer for this Madness buff 𝗏𝗏. Riken was the last hope. He had to kill 𝗏𝗏. But yeah, Wolfie does Vortex. It's at +2 special defense. It won't be enough. Funkyhao's 𝗏𝗏 has a Madness buff, so God of Despair securing. Okay, maybe he gets that one more kill on Yowler. Okay. So not too bad. One more kill isn't too shabby, but Crystal Spike ending the Wolfie's time here. And then it's quite literally Funkyhao's #1 Temtem versus the world. And he's going for a Madness buff to try to reverse sweep.
Let's go! Goodbye! Bye-bye. 𝗧𝗏𝗺𝗶𝗵 shredding the 𝗏𝗏. It did its best, but the Yowler completely denies it.
Yeah, that is right. And God of Despair, well played, absolutely fantastic. Not
see, but I just want to point out as well. I read someone in chat said it's nice to see Funkyhao fight 𝗵𝗵𝕋𝗶𝗵𝗶, and I mean, it is what it is, right? Both Afro boys, but definitely 𝗵𝗵 came out on top this time.
Yeah, very true. I mean, both players have so much respect for each other and a lot of love as well. They're both clubmates and they've known each other for quite some time. So I'm willing to bet Funky's proud of God of Despair. At least I would definitely be proud. Because, you know, Funky's kind of like the... Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Funky's kind of like the dad, right? He's kind of like the dad sometimes. Usually the best player in the room. And God, also a fantastic player, but, you know, a little bit more decorated Funkyhao is. So, hey, I'm proud of God. Can he take home the crown for the team? We will be finding out. Well, first things first, Scooteezy, Trotter, we got notified in the chat. Trotter is 1 game up, so Scooteezy a little bit on the back burner.
Yeah, so it has been reported it is 1-0 to Trotter. And Scooteezy is fighting for tournament life here. So we will have to see how this will play out.
Yeah,
I mean, Trotter with that Tortonite is so strong.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, into all this win pressure, but HKS most likely going on this 𝗵𝗶𝗶, doing about 50%, not too bad, but the Hypnosis coming out, keeping the 𝗏𝗏 from doing anything. Let's go to the scoreboard real quick, just so that we could catch up with everything. It looks like this Qianu will be falling out. Oh no, actually the Qianu dies to Toxic Tick, so yeah, might as well gun down some more damage. So let's take a look at the scoreboard. It looks Scooteezy doing some Scooteezy shenanigans, buffing up these speeds. +2 speed, +1/+1 with the Qianu buff on that 2-rock, +5 speed on this Grandpa, so all the way maxed out. And Qianu chilling with that +3 speed. So not all Temtems buffed up as we saw in the previous game, but the majority of them for sure. On the side of Trotter, you know what? Usually these birds have a really good time with aerobic Volerans, but Trotter's a different animal. He's rocking an anaerobic bird and it's already at +2 speed, +2 special defense. So it might be giving him a bit of a tough time. And we haven't even started about the back line. Broke back the Grumper looking fairly good into these Wind Temtems as well. Oh, waking up 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏.
Oh my lord! Revitalize onto the Grandpa, but oh my, that is very... Oh, that was a 5-head move if I've ever seen one.
Yeah,
my word.
Especially considering you're at -2 special attack, so you know you're not doing any damage. So it was literally like a wake up, like, hey 𝗏𝗏, wake your booty up. You got some poison ticks to apply on the Grandpa, so well done, fantastic play for Trotter. But what is online one more time? Hyperkinetic Strike is online for Tanner the Bully Grandpa. Bully not online, it's the other way around. Scooteezy's the one with the 1 Temtem down, but still +5 speed is no joke whatsoever. But man, Trotter just has a solid board. 𝗏𝗏, anaerobic Voleran. Scooteezy seemingly having a tougher time taking this board down.
Yeah, and I can definitely agree to that. There's is a decent amount of pressure by Trotter here, and 𝗬𝗧𝗺 gonna try and output as much damage as possible, but this Grandpa with the Toxic Ticks with no way to heal as well is definitely going to eventually go down, and it's gonna try and HKS perhaps into the Bullerman again with that 𝗬𝗧𝗺 pairing to try and do as much damage as possible here.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, if there's one Temtem that could dish out damage regardless of the Tem, will be 𝗬𝗧𝗺. It might be his first time on the board, so perhaps just a simple double gash online. But HKS 69 all the way to 35, so dishing out the damage. But 𝗬𝗧𝗺 seems to be the game plan. And wait a second.
Hold up.
It's resistant. Oh, yeah. 𝗬𝗧𝗺's 4 tickler poison, of course.
Yeah. So, getting that damage over, but Trotter committing to this poison plan, not a bad idea, but he's about to trade Valorant and the 𝗬𝗧𝗺 who are relatively set up for this plan. Perhaps banking on 𝗬𝗏 and Grandpa carrying the rest. I mean, I don't blame him. 𝗬𝗏𝗺 is gonna get one shot if whoever has anything to say about it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, at least 𝗬𝗏𝗺 has that +2 speed, so able to get off something. Unless the Grandpa wants to gun it down with a simple wind burst, might be enough. I know it's half effective with wind damage, but 10% is not too much to ask for from this Grandpa. So might just gun it down, and then we might see a crazy C-Bite coming into that Valorant direction. How can Trotter mitigate the most damage? I guess maybe 𝗬𝗏 in for 𝗬𝗏𝗺, and then perhaps something like Leonardo in for the bird, but then you have Leonardo facing off against Grandpa the following turn, which doesn't feel too good.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good at all here, whichever move follows through, but Hypnosis is going to be thrown out though, putting the Torture Knight to sleep, so it doesn't get to set up, at least for another turn. But the Noxious Bomb, these will add up, and it is getting closer and closer. Another one of those, and the Grandpa is guaranteed to die, but the Valorant does overexert and will take a Crystal Bite to secure that kill. So, not over yet for the side of Scooteezy, but his breadwinner is very low. It probably has 1 HKS left in it, and that is why the 𝗬𝗏 comes in here. Actually, the hook kick might hurt here for the 𝗬𝗏.
Yeah, well said. Hook kick hasn't even come on, hasn't even been dished out yet, so that is indeed online. And looking at the back line, there's nothing really that can eat a hook kick. I mean, both targets on Trotter's board don't want to eat a hook kick, so 𝗬𝗧𝗺's feeling pretty strong. Scooteezy looking decently after taking down this Valorant and essentially taking down this 𝗬𝗏𝗺. Can Scooteezy bring it all the way to a game number 3? As looking good, but of course a lot more games still to be had, not behead. One of these tamers will be beheaded at the end of the day.
Yep, exactly. We're gonna kill one of them straight up, rip dead. Yeah, but right.
And we'll see, of course, hook kick most likely not going to be ending 𝗬𝗏's day here, so something like a rock fall or maybe just a simple stone ball will be enough to take down 𝗬𝗧𝗺. I actually don't know. Valorant died, so it didn't come in on the swap, so Rockfall could not be online. So yeah, maybe just looking at a good stone ball into that 𝗬𝗧𝗺 spot. How can Scooteezy eat that up? It looks like Grandpa gonna be leaving and saving that HKS. We'll keep an eye for it. HKS still online on that Grandpa.
Oh, the damage is not minimal. And the Rockfall soon to follow. 𝗬𝗧𝗺 does get picked off. And the 𝗬𝗺𝗺 comes in with the Grandpa here. Double HKS might be on the cards to one-shot the Torture Knight, but there's just so many swap possibilities for Trotter that it's hard to believe that that's Scooteezy's gamble, and it is not.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I know what you meant, Blue. The tornado, right? Because of 𝗏𝗺𝗺.
Yeah. Yeah, Tornado HKS when if Grandpa swaps back in, basically.
Yeah, so it looks like Scooteezy not going to be having none of that. So just going to be playing for that good stone ball pressure onto that Tourney spot. And it's a good pressure, you know. Stone ball catches the Grumper, catches the Tourney. So Tornado plus the stone ball for the kill. Let's check it out.
Oh my god! Oh, the Rockfall gets the kill. And oh my god, that was a soft turtle shell. Very soft turtle shell.
Cooked them alive there. So well done. It looks like Scooteezy will be bringing it to a game number 3. I don't really see a world where Trotter could really bring it back. Essentially, 𝗀𝗏𝗺's pretty much all the way down, and then it's just 𝗂𝗏 and a Grumper to deal with the +2 speed, +1/+1 Rocky Tan, the 𝗂𝗏, and a 𝗵𝗀𝗺 still in the back. So maybe there's a grin hope, because Grandpa, but Grandpa's still with the HKS. Yeah, I think Scooteezy feeling pretty good here.
Yeah, this is just one of those feels good man moments. It's just so what's his face? It's just so surprising to me, at least, that the Tourney goes down like that. There's still obviously the Grumper in the back, but that's what the 𝗂𝗏 is for, right? To beat the Grumper, especially with +2 speed. It will get 2 stone balls off beforehand, but Resin Trap will kill off the Grandpa, which is potentially an HKS, but fortunately, of course, Beta Burst should kill 𝗀𝗏𝗺 here. So 1 for 1, still in shoes. And yes, there's a Grumper, and that 𝗂𝗏's still alive, but Beta Burst from the 𝗵𝗀𝗺 should kill the Trotter's 𝗂𝗏, and Rockfall twice should kill the Grumper.
Yeah, we'll see, of course, 𝗵𝗀𝗺 at base speed. This 𝗂𝗏 on Scooteezy's side is at +2 speed, so most likely the fastest temp on the board. Of course, Grumper easily one-shot this 𝗵𝗀𝗺. So yeah, you're exactly right. It's supposed to be a 1v1 Grumper versus this 𝗂𝗏, and I believe just back-to-back stone balls will be enough to take it down. Stone ball 100. Yeah, look at that damage, almost 80% there.
Electric Storm to throw down the 𝗵𝗀𝗺. Of course, that was expected, but still, rest in pieces, 𝗵𝗀𝗺. You will be missed. And the concession does come through. Scooteezy takes that game, and we head to a game 3.
Alright, so this is it. Do or die time for both of these tamers. As we keep saying, only one tamer moving forward to the finals. Scooteezy, I think he's always fallen short. Is today his day? Trotter has been in the finals before. Scooteezy has yet to make his finals appearance. Maybe today his day with his new turbo team. I think he's just been playing this team for about a week or 2 now. So well done to him catching on to the team relatively fast. But Trotter, he did take the first game, and now he's back on blue side. Is this where he feels the most comfortable?
Right. I mean, it is definitely not over for either side. And Scooteezy, I would dare say he has to work for his meal way harder than Trotter. At least because Trotter has a bit more, again, consistency, right? You have that 𝗀𝗏𝗺, you have that Volren, you have the 𝗂𝗏, you have just a lot of consistent forms of holding. While Scooteezy, you gotta hope that you get your speed boosts up. So, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what he picks first here, because a lot of the time, his plays have to happen in the second turn.
Yeah, we'll see. And of course, Trotter does pick up this 𝗂𝗏, able to have that win resistance for the majority of Scooteezy's team. But there we have it. 2 counters to this 𝗂𝗏. Maybe able to take it out in the opening turn. So Trotter looking to swap this out. So double gash, water cannon, really putting the pressure on this 𝗂𝗏. And you know what? That 𝗂𝘀𝗶 pickup might be a little telltale sign that it might be a toxic Temtem replacing the 𝗂𝗏 in the opening turn. But we will see. It looks like both birds have been eliminated, and Trotter saying, Grandpa, a little bit too strong. Let's ban both of the birds. So it looks like the only birds left for Scooteezy, it will be this 𝗬𝗏 and it will be 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗏. So maybe some of the more manageable ones for him. I know Grandpa seemingly a bit manageable, but once you get that speed, once the hypnos start flying out, it becomes insanely tough to take it down. All the way, it took Trotter like the very second to last turn. Finally, Grandpa falls. But a Temtem we didn't get to see last game. 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗏𝗺, will that be a difference maker here?
The Psychic Collaborator, obviously not active, but Inner Spirit definitely gonna do a lot of damage. But look at this Scooteezy. He has rejected the speed game. Well, he can't do the speed game. he has no choice but to play conventionally. And that might be the way that Trotter wins this. I mean, Scooteezy, his strategy revolved around being able to be fast and being able to outpace the enemy. And Trotter, understandably so, gets rid of the only Tems that can abuse that speed in the form of increased damage.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, he still has a couple turbo users, but you're right, doesn't have the targets that he's used to having. Something like that Voldaren, something like that Grandpa. So it could be a very interesting game. I mean, this is what good teams are built of. You're able to not rely on just a single Temtem or just a set of Temtems, and you're able to have a well-rounded team. But as we said, this is it. Game number 3 of our semifinals. Trotter versus Scooteezy, who is taking it home for the boys. And the boys being whichever side you guys are on. But yeah, as we said before, double gash water cannon is a bit of the straightforward play. So Trotter maybe bringing out something like a 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗏𝗺 or Leonardo. But Leonardo doesn't like a double gash all that much. Actually, both of the toxic targets don't really want that turn 2 with 𝗬𝗏𝗺 on the board. So things are kind of interesting for the starting play.
Yeah, the opening for both players here can also be to play for second turn. But 𝗬𝗏𝗶𝗵𝗶 does give Scooteezy a bit of an edge, especially if he wants to swap in something else pair with the 𝗬𝗏𝗏. In this situation, no toxic ink damage. Well, regardless, there's not really any toxic damage coming from Trotter's side. But yeah, swap in for 𝗧𝗏𝗺𝗏𝗺 here. Will come through for that water cannon synergy. And the 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗏𝗺 will be eating that water cannon very nicely. I think it should survive this very easily, and it does.
Yeah, it looks like both tamers keeping it safe. Didn't want to run the risk because 𝗬𝗏𝗺 was also pressured. A water cannon stone ball would have ended 𝗬𝗏𝗺's time there. And it looks like Trotter felt the same way about his 𝗬𝗏. So both players, knowing it's game 3, you can't play too risky here. So making the safe bets. And hey, eating up the water cannons beautifully. 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗏𝗺's a little bit better than eating it a little bit better by 4%. But now it looks like these switches switching up their targets, looking at the 𝗬𝗏𝗏. So 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗁 in to scare away this 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗏𝗺's 𝗬𝗏𝗏 on the side of Trotter. Coming in for the Tort tonight to scare away the 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗁. The reads are real here.
Made a burst follow through as well, doing damage to the Nox. And a swap in read, as you mentioned, by Scooteezy here against that Tort tonight. And we know what happens if that tornado lands plus.
Oh yeah, what was that, like 80-90%? So insane. As well, you know, the tornado could direct on a 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗏𝗺, so you gotta pick your poison. Where do you think the... Actually, you know what? Maybe Trotter just keeping it absolutely safe. Maybe a double swap, something like Lowali, 2-Rock. However, you almost want to keep Tortonite in so that you can Crystal Spike 𝗬𝗏𝗺. With that being said, maybe that's the more likely decision. So yeah, maybe you tornado the Leonardo if it wants to pressure out the 𝗬𝗏𝗺, because it's more likely to stay in just so the 𝗬𝗏𝗺 gets punished too. So I dare say something like a tornado toxic ink might be enough to end Leonardo. So Maybe Trotter has to double swap here. I'm not too sure.
The 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶 is swapped out here for the 𝗬𝗧𝗺𝗃. And the wind burst to follow. No tornado, but look at the damage! Tourney, I thought you were supposed to be a tanky boy. This isn't what I expected.
Ooh.
Crystal Spikes. One-shotting the 𝗃𝗁𝗃. The Tourney saying, if you can do that damage to me, I can dish it back out. And the Beta Burst gonna do some straightforward damage to the 𝗬𝗧𝗺. But my god, that trade. The Tourney was like, you know what? Enough. Stop with your trash. One-shot destruction.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge. Of course, it was a strange Vest 𝗃𝗁𝗃, so all that special defense nowhere to be found, getting the brunt of that Leonardo's force. I was about to say, man, that's a lot of special attack on Leonardo. I see why the HP is a little bit down, but yeah, the strange Vest helping out as well. So first casualty of game 3 in turn 2 will be on the side of Scooteezy. So 𝗃𝗁𝗃 going down, making that Leonardo plus the 𝗃𝗁𝗃 feel a little bit more safer. Of course, not out of the woods just yet. That 2-rock is still kicking in that back line. But you know, 𝗃𝗁𝗃 such a powerhouse. We saw, as you said, Blue, the simple wind burst. It did what? 64%? That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. The 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶 does swap in. Hook kick might do some damage, but Tourney has a very, very solid defense stat. So there's also a shot in the dark. If you cage here as the Tourney, you could potentially survive getting hook kick. But 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶 might just Toxic Ink that spot just to push that over the edge. But Trotter does swap out the 𝗃𝗁𝗃. No cage will be played. 2-rock will be coming in here. And the Acid Reflux going to land on both these targets. So just setting up for the kill. Wow, I lied. That was nothing. And the Crystal Bite is completely absorbed.
Wow.
So ignoring the Tourney, you saw how much damage it did. And it's going to keep shredding. Keep on pushing on.
Yeah, that is so much value for the side of Trotter there. You know, I guess he wanted the kill. He definitely wanted the kill on that 𝗃𝗁𝗃. You can see it so bad. Acid Reflux, Crystal Bite. But it looked like the problem, of course, hindsight being 2020, Leonardo staying in, needed that hook kick to the face to end it here. But alright, the cage leaving everything in for just this turn. Of course, resistance is a thing, so 𝗬𝗧𝗺 will be able to swap out the following turn. But maybe this is just for the stone wall. If he can live the hook kick, no, he cannot.
Oh my god. Absolutely obliterated. And neither Tem's, oh well, only the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶 will be trapped now, but what a unfortunate turn of events here.
Yeah, that 2-rock was pretty good there. You know what? Leonardo did not get attacked, so I wonder if instead of that cage, just something good like the Crystal Spike wouldn't have been that bad just to dish out some more damage. But 𝗂𝗀𝗆 coming out, nothing's online except that water cannon from the turn 1. So it doesn't have Aquatic Whirlwind, so that's something to consider. Well, let's take a look. Oh, they already clicked their moves. 𝗬𝗧𝗺 is going to be falling back, and 𝗂𝗀𝗆 does come back. Let's see what Scooteezy has in mind. I mean, maybe just keeping things straightforward. Yeah, just a good Toxic Ink damage.
Toxic Ink trade comes through, but because of Cameo protects the 𝗂𝗀𝗆, and the Water Cannon trade, wow, crazy. Poison immunity as well. But Tourney's Garden, I mean, the Nox, you can dodge everything, but can you dodge being doomed? And right now, not really. Would have to fall asleep to do so. But at this point, I think he's going to get ignored by the side of Trotter here, just to keep pushing for that win.
Wait a minute. Something to a point. Wait, Leonardo pressed cage, and he didn't get a +1/+1. Is this an efficient Fortnite? Or...
Well, no. It's because Lin had Escapist, and because the Tourney wasn't caged in by himself. Yeah, literally Tourney, 2-rock is probably the worst combo together I've ever seen, especially with Escapist on top of Confine, because one wants to stay in, one says no, you're not allowed. So I think Trotter just didn't realize that, or maybe that was just he misread his situation. I'm not quite sure what was going through his mind when he decided to play that, but it was just unfortunate, really.
Yeah, a bit of a non-bow there, but the Aquatic Whirlwind not going to be doing so much on that 𝗬𝗶𝗺 Toxic Ink. Pretty much the same thing. And man, so much value from this tour tonight. It looks like Scooteezy
Oh my God.
not respecting the #1 starter. And 𝗂𝗶𝗵𝗶𝗶, I'm not going to say #1 starter.
True.
It's the one that I picked, but by no means the #1 starter. Crystal Gain, Crystal Gain.
Crystal Gang for life, baby.
𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗶. But hey, Leonardo getting so much, you know, it was moments away that Windburst doing so much, and then a simple hook kick would have ended all this value from Leonardo. But Scooteezy saying, you know what, I don't care what Leonardo does, I will deal with it later. Let's see if it bites him in the butt, because that was a stonewall he just did. And
oh, the water cannon to put the Nox to sleep and purge off Doom. Interesting plan to make sure that the Nox gets the heal and the Beta Burst to follow on the 𝗬𝗀𝗃.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant play for Scooteezy. I don't know why we didn't think about that. Of course, trans trade is the easiest way. So hey, if Trotter's not going to bring Potato's HP down, Scooteezy has to do it himself. So absolutely fantastic stuff for Scooteezy. And this game is very neck and neck. 𝗬𝗏 going to be replacing the Noxalato, and Scooteezy, of course, the turbo game plan does come alive with this turbo here.
Beta Burst to follow through here onto the 𝗬𝗏, but the game is getting very close and it's getting really down to the wire. Look at the HP pools, plus 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is the only full HP Tem, and in fact 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is really good against every Tem Scooteezy has. So even if he gets through what Trotter has right now, that 𝗬𝗏𝗃 might pack a punch.
Yeah, and you're so right. There's no actually no, Noxalato can do a fair bit. It's at +2 special attack, so if it's able to get an acid reflux off, 𝗬𝗏𝗃 should be definitely in that danger zone. So Aquatic Whirlwind, where are we shooting? Because it was 2 toxic Tems. Okay, you gotta do some damage where you can. So onto the 𝗬𝗶𝗺. Oh, this is gonna kill. Inner Spirit not able to go off. That is huge. That is why speed makes such an impact sometimes. Both of Scooteezy Tems going first, neglecting that Inner Spirit from the 𝗬𝗶𝗺. Well done. Is that a slight edge to Scooteezy here? 2 Temtems down on Trotter.
The HP is definitely not in favor of Scooteezy, though. Once again, if Trotter simply outspeeds him, he might just kill them all. But fortunately, 𝗬𝗏𝗃 and 𝗬𝗏 are sped up, so they will have the opportunity to land their attacks first. But will it do enough damage? Will their first landing attacks do enough damage? That is now the question, and I think the answer here is no. They would have to kill 𝗬𝗏𝗃 right here, I think. Oh, and instead, otherwise, will be a Nox instead to try and eat those attacks. Turbo to nullify, well, not really nullify, but to at least try and match that pace. Aquatic Whirlwind, as well to do damage on the Nox, does 4% damage. So chipping away, I mean, that was an Aquatic Whirlwind, and that did 4% damage. That is a tanky Nox.
Yeah, a bit of an obvious read. Of course, the 𝗬𝗏 did not want to stay in. The best Temtem to eat that will be Potato. And Trotter maybe just playing straightforward. He could have shot it over to 𝗬𝗏𝗃 just for the damage, but he's just saying Resin Trap has a bit of a checkmate situation. Looking at the back line, 𝗬𝗏𝗃, he can't eat it, he goes down. Rocky Tan can't eat it, he goes down. And also 𝗬𝗏𝗃 can't eat it. So Resin Trap being online, unless the only saving grace for Scooteezy saving himself from getting a kill here is a +2 speed Potato with a Hypnosis. Was that single +1 speed from Trotter enough to get the Resin Trap off? Or does Potato sleep this 𝗬𝗏𝗃 because I think a resin trap is indeed coming.
Right, this 𝗬𝗏𝗻 on Scooteezy's side on the verge of death. Perhaps the best he can do is water cannon that 𝗬𝗏𝗻 spot, and then a toxic ink on the same spot. I mean, the Tourney's gonna absorb all of it, but desperate times really call for desperate measures here.
Yeah, of course, Potato could forego the Hypno just for some damage. I mean, you gotta do the damage where you can, and Potato is the only real damage maker against this 𝗬𝗬𝗺, so maybe I think Acid Reflux back online, able to dish out a whole lot of damage, and maybe you just get a sacrificial kill there on Scooteezy. What does he need the least? It looks like the 𝗬𝗏𝗻 needs him the least, so he keeps it in. Water cannon just for some good damage.
Yeah, doing some solid work, and the Hypoxia try and kill off the Nox, and it does a lot of efficient damage, but the trade finally does go through as expected. But the Nox, now threatened with death, is the only way to kill 𝗬𝗬𝗺 at least efficiently, and unfortunately now outpaced by its very enemy.
And I believe we saw the Hypoxia go first, so it's 100% confirmed 𝗬𝗬𝗺 at +1 speed, which was an essential turbo earlier, is indeed faster. So final two Temtems for the side of Trotter. Can these two Tems, 𝗬𝗬𝗺, Tourney, bring it back around? As you said earlier, these HP pools on Scooteezy's Temtems very close to nil. 𝗬𝗬𝗺, a good answer to a lot of those Temtems. Does Potato fall to a single crystal spike is the question.
I would say no, but perhaps.
Actually, I'm seeing it here in the chat, so I'm cheating a little bit. What if Tourney cages and just lets 𝗬𝗬𝗺 Hypno again? I think that's the win condition, but 𝗬𝗏𝗻 goes first, so there was no cage here.
Not quite yet, but now is the time for action, and Arusho will come through. Actually ignores the Noxolotl for that Crystal Spikes. Very smart choice here. But Acid Reflux goes before the Tourney, so Acid Reflux will still do a lot of damage on this 𝗬𝗬𝗺, and suddenly Scooteezy has a very, very good shot with a very fast Rocky Tan, Stone Ball, and Gyalis with devastating torrents of damage. It is unclear if Trotter has this.
Yeah, it was such a... I guess we can call it a misplay, only in hindsight. It was a read to be made. But yeah, if 𝗬𝗬𝗺 would have attacked the Noxolotl, it would have saved himself 60-70% HP. And you know, Gyalis is fast. Maybe that +1 speed isn't enough to save himself from a sharp stab. That might have been the play Scooteezy needed. The 𝗬𝗬𝗺 was looking good, but now not so much at 15.5%. Let's see how it plays out. So Resin Strap still gonna be flying out onto the bird here.
He gets the kill, and that is excellent. Gash secures the kill on 𝗬𝗬𝗺. Now it is Crystal v Crystal Classic, but the Crystal Spikes has to kill. It does! And unfortunately for the side of Scooteezy, Trotter will be taking that game.
That is right.